All right, hopefully you all have an image playing in and you have it on a layer. Now we're going to create polygon primitive sphere options. 2020.5 is a pretty good starting place. Create. Now I'm going to go to the front. Hold down spacebar, left click, down to front. I'm going to move it up to the approximate center of my cup. Hit R to get scale. And scale it up uniformly, not with the side handle, but the middle handle, till the edge gets close to the edge of my cup. Once that's achieved, I'm going to scale up in Y, which will distort my sphere, but I need verts to the top and to the bottom of my cup. Mostly to the top so that I can create something to invert and pull down to create the opening in the coffee cup. Now, F9 to go to vertex selection mode, and I'm going to grab all of these and snap them to X all together. Now, trick. There's a bug in Maya. If I click on my little hammer tool, which gives me my tool settings, and I click on, if I have W selected for move, and there's a move snap setting with the retain component spacing option. By default, that is checked. What does that mean? Well, if I hold down X to snap, you'll see that they all move together, all the verts. Component spacing stays the same. So the relationship in space to one another stays the same. So they all move together, and the center is actually what snaps to X. And note that I'm moving in Y only, not grabbing the middle part, not grabbing X. If you uncheck that and hold down X, it should snap all of them to the same plane. If when you do that, that doesn't work, you may have to hit Reset Tool and uncheck it again. There's a bug. Okay, so now I'm going to bring that up. I'm not snapping. I'm bringing it up to the approximate bottom of my cup. And then I'm going to scale all of those up uniformly. If I hit R, close that window to give us some more space. And I'm going to scale them uniformly from the center manipulator till my edge gets close. And I'm just getting it close. These cups do not have to be perfect, but I want them close. This whole thing is an exercise in moving, scaling, rotating, getting comfortable with the tools, understanding what the manipulators look like. It does not have to be perfect. And I'm going to show you why in a minute. So again, I'm just getting it close just for fun because I'm getting used to holding down Alt to pan my camera up. I'm getting used to drag selecting a row of verts. I'm getting used to scaling from the middle and not from Y or X. When you do that, you're going to distort your cup. We try to work symmetrically. Again, top of my cup. Now this is the exact top of my cup before we start the rounded part. So now we're going to get into creating that rounded top that we talked about. So it's not cut off flat. To do that, I grab the next row of verts. I scale them up, but not all the way out. I move them down. And then I grab the next row, scale them out, not as far as the one that I did before. Then W, moving down. That's not far enough. And I'm going to move that one down to about the height of my initial top of the cup. So now when we go to perspective, and I get out of X-ray mode, you'll see that I have the beginnings of a round top of the cup. I'm going to go back to front. Go back to, sometimes this goes dead. You can go to shading and hit X-ray to get back to X-ray. Now I'm going to scale these up as well. I'm once again going to snap my verts to X, or holding down X, and I'm going to pull these all the way down to create the bottom inside of my cup. I'm also going to scale them up, hit R, so that the thickness of my walls are generally uniform. Now once again, if we go back to perspective, I hit F8 to get out of component mode. I get out of X-ray mode. You'll see that I have a decent cup. Now, as I said before, we've got a bunch of junk geometry in here that doesn't need to be here. We've got a bunch of rows vertically and horizontally. The vertical ones we want to retain. So these lines here, if I hit F10 to go to edge mode, that go like this, we want to keep, because that creates the definition and enough geometry there to create a round round-ish. It's not perfectly round, obviously, but a roundish shape. These going sideways are basically useless. So what I want to do is go to the front, and I'm going to hit 4. And I'm also going to hide my cup because I don't need it. And I'm going to drag select all of my horizontal rows, my horizontal edges. Not my top, I'm going to leave those, and not my bottom, and not the bottom of the inside, but everything else in between. So I just drag select that first one. I'm going to hold down Control Shift. Control Shift will allow me to add to my selection. And in fact, I could do this all at once, but as you can see, I'm just going to grab all those. And then I have this one down here I got to be careful with. So I don't want that bottom one. And now if I hit backspace, a lot of those edges would go away. But I don't want, again, I don't want those vertical edges. I just want my horizontal loops that are going around my cup. So I'm going to deselect all my vertical ones. To do that, I'll hold down Control. Control will allow me to deselect components. When I do that, I'm drag selecting in between every horizontal loop. And once I get that done, even this bottom little one down here, if I go back to perspective and hit 5, you can see that I have all my loops, all my edges all the way around selected. And now I'm going to hit backspace. You'll see that it simplified my geometry. It gave me only what I need to create that cylinder. And now my lines are cool. They're straight from bottom to top. I've got straight lines going up, which creates a nice clean surface. The problem is, when I did that, when you delete edges, it does not delete the verts that are associated or connected with the edges. So if I hit F9, you'll still see a bunch of floating verts. But because I got rid of those, and I now have verts that are only connected by 2 edges, I can delete verts. You can delete verts when they're only connected by 2 edges. If there are 3 or more edges connecting a vert, you cannot delete them. And I'll show you that right now. So I'm going to go to the front again, hit 4 to go to wireframe, and I'm going to drag select all of these verts. In fact, I'm going to do everything. So as you can see, I even have these down here. But notice the ones on the bottom of my cup have more than one edge. These right here have 4 edges. 1, 2, 3, 4 connected to the verts. Only the ones in the middle only have 2 edges. So if I hit backspace now, they go away. Everything else stays the same. Again, because I cannot delete backspace. I cannot delete verts that have more than 2 connections. In fact, it'll tell you some selected verts have complex edge attachment, blah, 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 blah. So this is where I want you to get, and this is where we're going to start tomorrow in creating our cup handle and showing you how to attach it properly to the cup. The end.